Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to be building my League 2 underrated 11 for the 2024-25 campaign. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new, can we try and hit 100 likes on today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Let me know down below any players who you also think are underrated, and if you agree, obviously, with my team as well. But let's waste no further time and get straight into it. Now, for the 11 players that I have selected today, I personally believe that they don't get the recognition by wider League 2 fans as to what I personally think they deserve. So starting out then with the goalkeeper, I have gone with Teddy Sharman-Lowe of Doncaster Rovers. Now, I believe he's currently on loan with the football club. Obviously, last season, the second half of last season, they had Timothy Lotatala from Hull City, and he was absolutely flying. But I feel like because he was pretty decent, Teddy Sharman-Lowe is now going under the radar a little bit. But at 21 years of age, he has had a really good start to the season so far. He's got a 64% save percentage, which I don't think is awful, in 17 League 2 appearances. He's also kept the 5 clean sheets throughout that time as well. I think his distribution, though, is certainly a big plus for a 21-year-old to have the confidence that he does. I think he's quite a tall goalkeeper as well. Very good from the crosses, but his distribution, I certainly noticed that when he played against my team, Bradford City, a couple of weeks ago. His distribution was excellent. He's very confident when he does come out and claim them crosses, so I would personally put him in as the most underrated goalkeeper in League 2. As always, with any type of team building, squad building sort of video that I do, we will do them in a 4-3-3 formation. I've tried to make them fit in as much as possible. You're not going to see a striker playing on the left wing, but you might see a number 10 playing as a central midfielder, for example. So moving over to the right back then, I have gone with Donald Love of Accrington Stanley. I believe previously of Morecambe, joined John Doolan's side in the summer and has had a pretty good start to the season so far. 15 appearances, 13 of them being starts in League 2. 1 goal and 3 assists, 4 goal contributions in 13 starts for a right back of Accrington's calibre. I think is a really good return. Defensively, very solid as well. 1.5 tackles per game, 3.2 balls recovered per game, 2.7 clearances per game as well. Wins over 50% of his ground duels and nearly 50% of his aerial duels. And I think his output, both offensively and defensively, has been pretty solid so far this season, so I'm going to chuck him in at right back. In terms of my 2 central defenders then, at first I've gone with Brendan Weirdo of Fleetwood Town. He can either play central midfield or as a central defender, but Brendan Weirdo for me has to be in this team. You see the sort of names that get thrown around as the best centre-halves in the division, the likes of Matty Platt, Jacob Bedo, Sam Sherrin, all these type of names, but Brendan Weirdo, he is so important to any type of Fleetwood Town success that they are going to achieve this season. Hasn't played for around a month or so with an injury, and you look at Fleetwood's results, it kind of does go to show. I think he is their club captain at now 25 years of age, 13 appearances for him so far this season, 1 goal, no assist, but he's kept 5 clean sheets, averages 1.5 interceptions per game, 1.7 tackles per game, 3.2 balls recovered per game, and 2 clearances per game as well. He wins 70% of his ground duels and 56% of his aerial duels with a 60% successful dribble rate. He is an absolute monster, and he's definitely one of the most underrated players in the division, and absolutely has to be in this team. And partnering him, I have gone with another player from Doncaster Rovers, and that is Jay McGrath. Now, a few people might be raising their eyebrows after obviously he was sent off at the weekend. I think there was an argument for him to have picked up his second yellow card before he did eventually get sent off. I think it was quite a clumsy challenge, one he didn't really need to make, in all honesty. But when again he played against my team Bradford City, he was absolutely amazing. We all know Andy Cook is the best striker in the division, and McGrath and maybe even Jack Senior as well were very important to keeping him quiet. Eventually he did still manage to break through and score, but Jay McGrath was an absolute monster. I was so impressed with what I saw from him. Defensively, very solid, good on the ball, pretty decent technically, I would say. 14 appearances for him so far this season. Only the 3 clean sheets, but 1.6 tackles per game, 2.5 balls recovered per game, and 5.4 clearances per game as well. He wins 58% of his ground duels and 63% of his aerial duels. I personally believe he is really underrated. You look at the amount of times that Doncaster keep clean sheets or maybe only concede the odd goal, it's when Jay McGrath plays. He's so much better than Tom Anderson. I think he's raised the game of Joe Olowu as well, and for me personally, he absolutely has to be in this side. side. And completing my back four then, at left back I have gone with Lewis Gordon of Chesterfield FC. He's played in 17 games so far this season, hasn't scored yet, but has accumulated the 3 assists and has also created a further big chance. He has kept the 4 clean sheets, averages 1.5 tackles per game, 4.3 balls recovered per game and 1.9 clearances per game as well. He wins 60% of his ground duels, only 34% of his aerial duels, but he's certainly much better going forward than he is defensively, but he's not awful defensively. And again, you look at the attacking output you see from full-backs and wing-backs, and I never really see Lewis Gordon get mentioned in that conversation. Let's move on then into my 3 midfielders. I think they're all kind of more defensive midfielders, or maybe number 8s. There's no number 10s in here, but first up I'm going to go with Callum Guy of Carlisle United, former Bradford City player many moons ago, about 7 or 8 years ago since he played for the football club. Now 28 years of age, has been such an important player for Carlisle over the last couple of seasons, and only recently returned to action as well in the last 6 weeks after I think picking up an ACL injury back in November 2023 in an FA Cup match against Leyton Orient. So he has only played the 7 games so far this season, but you notice a difference in not only the Carlisle United results but the performances when he does play. The last 3 games where he has been back fit and available, they've picked up 5 points out of a possible 9, and I think he has been really, really good for them, not just this season but in years gone by as well. Breaks up the play, always gives 110%. It came off on Saturday, I think, with a little bit of a knock against Doncaster, so they'll be hoping that everything is fine. But he wins 56% of his total duels, very combative in the midfield. He has an 81% passing accuracy as well. I think under Mike Williamson, he is only going to thrive, so he absolutely has to be in this team. I think he's very underrated. Next to him in midfield, I've gone with Osama Ashley of Salford City. Again, a bit more of a defensive holding sort of midfielder. He's played the 15 League 2 matches so far this season, 13 of them have been starts. No goals, but 1 assist in there with a 69% successful pass rate. Defensively though, his stats are absolutely excellent. 1.8 interceptions per game, 1.9 tackles per game, 3.7 balls recovered per game, and 1.3 clearances per game as well. He wins 56% of his ground duels and 58% of his aerial duels. I think I'm right in saying that he is out of contract with the football club in the summer, so I would be surprised not to see him get a move to a real top League 2 club, or even maybe a bottom end League 1 side. I think he's very good for 23 years of age, certainly an underrated player, and a player I do certainly see getting a move very soon. Before we do go any further though with today's video, don't forget to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 100 likes on today's video? That would be massively appreciated. And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Who do you think are some of the most underrated players in League 2? And completing my midfield 3 then, I nearly went with Curtis Edwards of Notts County. Instead I went with a different Notts County midfielder in Scott Robertson. When I watched him play against my team Bradford City last season, he absolutely ran the show, and with some of the names that were at Notts County, the likes of Alassana Jatta, Macaulay Langstaff, Jody Jones, Dan Crowley, someone like Scott Robertson did massively go under the radar, and I think this season has struggled a little bit with injuries. Missed I think the opening game, then had the odd injury around end of August, early September time. Now he's injured again, which is probably disappointing for him, that he's constantly stopping and starting, and he has only made the 5 starts in the league so far this season. But he has got 1 goal, no assist, technically absolutely excellent, and 90% passing accuracy, 92% in his own half, 84% in the opposition half, but even 43% of his long balls are accurate as well. Defensively, not too bad, 1.7 tackles per game, 1.9 balls recovered per game, wins 61% of his ground duels and 50% of his aerial duels. I think he's absolutely brilliant and has to be in this side. Let's move on then into my front 3. Starting out on the right hand side, I've gone with former Shrewsbury Town man Sean Whalley, now 37 years of age and occupying his trade for Accrington Stanley, and I think he's been absolutely brilliant so far this season. 12 appearances, 12 starts, 3 goals and 4 assists, 7 goal contributions in 12 starts for a 37-year-old at Accrington Stanley. It doesn't really get much more impressive than that. The consistency that you get from Sean Whalley is absolutely excellent. A 23% accurate cross rate as well. Even defensively, he'll bring you quite a lot. 2 tackles per game, 4.1 balls recovered per game as well. He has a 34% successful dribble rate, but he attempts over 1 per 90 as well. I think for a 37-year-old, he is massively underrated. The engine and energy that he's got to be able to consistently go season after season, absolutely excellent. The goals, the assists, he's got everything, and he's a big part as to why Accrington are not currently in that bottom two, so he absolutely has to be in this side. As my striker, I've gone with Colchester United's Samson Tavide. Now, I nearly went Joe Ironside at Doncaster Rovers because I think he's miles better than Billy Sharp in terms of overall play and what he actually brings to that Doncaster side from obviously the handful of minutes that I have watched of Doncaster. I'm sure they might agree or disagree down in the comment section down below, but this part is about Samson Tavide, and this is why. 14 appearances, 12 starts for him so far this season, 3 goals and 5 assists. How often do you see a striker of Tavide's build, he's much more of a physical striker, have more assists than goals, but 8 goal contributions in 12 starts, and for some reason Danny Cowley benches him quite a lot for Lyle Taylor. I don't understand it. I think he's miles better than Lyle Taylor, in all honesty, and I think he brings a lot to the side, creates chances, scores goals. Samson Tavide, I think, will get a big money move in the summer, especially if he keeps up this form. He's currently on track to finish on well over 20 goal contributions, maybe even over 25 as well. For a struggling Colchester United side, it's criminal that Danny Cowley is struggling to get him into this team consistently. When he does play, he's proven he is more than good enough. So for me personally, Samson Tavide is very underrated, even by his own manager. Finally then, completing this list as a left winger, I've gone with Ethan Archer of Cheltenham Town. He's had a really good season so far. I don't think he signed a long-term contract with the club in the summer, but obviously Cheltenham needed a massive rebuild. They got that. Ethan Archer was one of the players who has joined the football club, 22 years of age, left winger, 13 starts, 4 goals, 4 assists in League 2 so far this season, 25% shot conversion rate as well, which I think is absolutely excellent. He's created 3 big chances, averages 1.5 key passes per game as well, 27% of his crosses are accurate. Defensively, it brings you loads as well, 2.5 tackles per game, 3.9 balls recovered per game as well, over a 50% successful dribble rate, absolutely outstanding. He is one of the better players in this division, and in the last 10 games, he's just completely come alive. He's got 4 goals and 3 assists in his last 10 matches. He's even got one in the FA Cup away at Rotherham as well. Absolutely excellent player, and he completes this list just because I think he's been absolutely brilliant so far this campaign. But there we have it then. There is my 2024-25 League 2 underrated 11. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below, and don't forget to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Peace.